As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology Meerut, deemed to be university, and its centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, CITSA, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, in association with African Asian Rural Development Organizations, ORDO, New Delhi, organized this weekly international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards a self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. And on behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, His Excellency the Secretary General ORDO, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as the Professor Emeritus and Chairman of the Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications. Welcome our guest speakers of today's webinar, Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy, Industry 4.0 Architect and ERP Consultant, and Director, Future Connect and PMC Global Systems Industry 4.0 Startups. And also my colleague, Mr. Alok Varshney, he is the Director of Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, and is also Director, Cantier Systems Private Limited, and Chair, MESA India, SIG, and the participants from India and abroad attending this webinar. Under this international webinar series, these two centers of excellence have organized 25 lectures so far, namely Open Technologies to Provision Simple and Economical IT Infrastructure, a roadmap for students using free and open source software and reaching goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Open source software and industrial IoTs for SMEs, free and open source software adoption and business models, open data platform for smart digital government, technology imperatives, make in India for self-reliance, edge artificial intelligence, data governance for self-reliant India, Digital India transforming governance and society, India's email service, citizen@indiamail.com in 22 constitutionally recognized languages, ecosystem architecture for digital transformation, education system cyber critical infrastructure, seizing opportunities in open innovation and value creation network in the digital world for self-reliant economy, by Dr. Jebamale Vinanji Arachi, former Principal Advisor to the Director General, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, Vienna. Ensuring food safety and compliance through technology. Digital India, urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing in India. Technology investment in agriculture value chain, role of foreign direct investment. Entrepreneurship and skill development, AI design pathways, the rise of platform economy, revisiting value chain governance. The era of automation, industrial robotics, and Industry 4.0, Indo-German perspectives of technology transfer, skill gap analysis, and opportunities. Role of artificial intelligence in healthcare, current developments in diagnosis and vaccine research. Digital agri-tech and agri-startup perspective, health informatics network value chain, e-health systems, and beyond. Leveraging emerging technologies for ensuring transparent and traceable agri and food supply chain. Unleash the power of citizen development for enterprise software development. E-governance models towards sustained quality service to citizen backed by technology. Today is the 26th edition of this very important webinar series. We'll have the talk by Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy, is an Industry 4.0 architect and ERP consultant. And introductory remarks by Mr. Alok Varshney, Director Cantier Systems Private Limited and Chair MESA India Special Interest Group, and he is also one of the promoter and the director of Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application of the Soviet Institute of Engineering and Technology. The topic is Indian MSEs, micro, small and medium enterprises to adopt Industry 4.0 technology capabilities. For that, urgent need for mentorship and accelerator program. Let me inform the participants that the list of topics in the webinar series is a growing list. Technology imperatives, technology investment, open technology, open system, open infrastructure, open source software, open hardware, open data, open banking, open insurance, open innovation, value creation network, human resources development, entrepreneurship development, skill development, startups in open technology applications, open society, industry 4.0, example, pharma 4.0, agriculture 4.0, governance 4.0, textile 4.0. Industry 5.0 is the next. Edge computing, data governance, digital India, open digital ecosystems, cyber critical infrastructure, dark data, dark cloud, dark web, dark net, technology enabled food value chain governance in platform economy, urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing to make digital India a way of life in India, traceability, enterprise software development, citizen development, and e-governance models. Atmanirbhar Bharat is the road ahead. It is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, of making India a self-reliant nation, rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation, and based on 5 pillars: economy, infrastructure, one that represents modern India, systems, 21st century technology driven, vibrant demography, and demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. This was announced on 15th May 2020 with the clarion call, vocal for local, to make it global. A demand-based economy system which is self-producing and self-consuming. Make in India, make for India, make by India, and make for global. The reforms announced have been systematic, planned, integrated, interconnected, and futuristic for creating strong enterprises, generating employment, and robust supply chain. On 5th March 2021, our Honorable Prime Minister in the webinar on the topic Productivity Linked Incentive Scheme for 13 crore sectors, that is yesterday. And he mentioned, and I would like to quote, it is very relevant for today's talk. The Prime Minister said the Productivity Linked Incentive Scheme would make a major impact to the country's MSMEs ecosystem by creating the anchor units in every sector that will need a new supplier base across the entire value chain. He urged the industry to join and take advantage of the PLI scheme. He said the focus of the industry should be on creating best quality goods for the country and for the world. He urged the industry to innovate according to the needs of the fast changing world, increase our participation in R&D, upgrading the manpower skills, and the use of new technology. He said we have to attract cutting edge technology and maximum investment in the sectors related to our core competency. The digital world is the rise of platform economy. Digital platform economy is emerging. Digital ecosystems are essential for digital transformation in the digital world. Fourth industrial revolution is the ongoing automation of traditional manufacturing and industry practices using modern smart technology. The key technologies are A, B, C, D, E. What is A? Artificial intelligence, analytics, and operation research. What is B? Blockchain. What is C? Cloud, IoT, 5G communications. What is D? Big data. And what is E? Ecosystems. And Industry 4.0 is today, and tomorrow is Industry 5.0. Industry 4.0 supply chains are making a new way of life in agricultural sector, agricultural value chain. India is having about something like 400 agriculture value systems in the country. Digital transformation is a step towards vocal for local, making it global. The micro, the small and medium enterprises are considered as the backbone of our Indian economy. With over 60 million business units, the sector contributes to 29% of India's GDP and 40% of export and employs over 110 million people. The Digital SME scheme of 2017 of the Ministry of SMEs provided training to SMEs, enabling them to move towards digital transformation. MSMEs must transform the way they function to be able to continue to produce goods and services during this turbulent time. This can be done by only adopting technologies which will help them to control their process digitally. Digitalization of SMEs, it needs a framework. SMEs in many developed countries have progressed considerably in adoption of smart technologies towards Industry 4.0 and Technology 4.0 and Technology, Industry 5.0. And they used successful manufacturing approaches like inclusion of partners in chains, simple and effective ERP-centric solutions and open innovations, adoption of agile methodology, innovation labs for demonstration, multiple stakeholder approach, skill and talent development, funding of digital transformation, etc., etc. European Union have undertaken steps to make SME leaders as AI-enabled, artificial intelligence-enabled e-leaders. In order to take advantage of these emerging technologies, it is required to create a framework to facilitate MSMEs to enhance their capabilities to compete locally and globally in making sustainable, profitable, and pragmatic digital transformation towards Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0. India needs to adopt digitalization of MSMEs, both in urban and rural areas, and also Khadi village industries. Challenges of Industry 4.0. A big challenge in Industry 4.0 adoption is not having clarity on where and how to start. Most companies lack courage to launch a radical digitalization plan. Lack of in-house talent to support digital development that hinders the deployment of Industry 4.0 initiatives. Production facilities are chaotic in nature. The motivation factor for the university to establish a Center for Industry 4.0 technology solutions and applications in collaboration with Accelerator Technology Systems in 2018 was to promote Industry 4.0 in SME sector through appropriate research, education, skill development, and entrepreneurship development programs. We have resolved to promote Industry 4.0 technology of its 9 pillars in SME sector, health sector, and agriculture sector through this technology center of excellence. Adoption and adaptation of Industry 4.0 is necessary in India. And in India, large factories are building smart factories. As a big brother, they are supposed to support MSMEs in the country. Digital has become the backbone of manufacturing. Every organization, irrespective of size, is now looking to improve productivity. The SME sector is providing enough opportunities, but to take them up, we still need a lot more deep tech startups. CEOs and functional heads are looking for return on investment, and that's where design thinking can play a major role. Every manufacturing company needs to start with a design thinking workshop at the start of the digital journey, as it can help in identifying challenges from the user point of view, which means proposed solutions will have user acceptance. UNIDO report 2018 Industry 4.0 on the title, The Opportunities Behind the Challenge. Industry 4.0 is likely to be accompanied by increased demand of science, technology, engineering, and maths STEM qualification in manufacturing. In the STEM environment, the skill bottleneck is likely to be felt most in developing countries. Because of the significant information asymmetry in new technologies, with a huge difference in the level of access to knowledge between developed and developing countries, between rich and poor, and between large and small firms. Access to learning new skills in technology and science, and building innovation ecosystem for technological learning and innovation will be crucial to enable developing countries to play an inclusive role in the global market. Let us now turn to the address on Indian MSMEs to adopt Industry 4.0 technology capabilities, urgent need for mentorship and accelerator program by our guest speaker. This topic will certainly motivate and galvanize the participants watching over telecast through facebook.com Soviet University India or youtube.com over Soviet University in, for motivating them to establish Industry 4.0 deep tech startup, at least one in each MSME cluster of the country. Let me introduce our guest speakers to the participants of this webinar. I will request my colleague, Mr. Alok Varshney, is the director of the Cantier Systems Private Limited, Director CITSA, and to introduce Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy. Before that, I will introduce Mr. Alok Varshney. He is the director of the Cantier Systems Private Limited and also chair of MESA India Special Interest Group. He is also the director of Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, and regularly contributes to the thought leadership in India 4.0 related technologies and applications. He is having educational background in engineering and business management. I will request Mr. Alok Varshney to introduce Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy to the participants and then we will request Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy to address the participants. Over to Mr. Alok Varshney.
Thank you, Professor Saab, for passing on the baton, and a very good morning to our esteemed guest and the speaker of today, Mr. Alagiri, and of course, a very good morning to all the friends who are present in this beautiful presentation of the morning. First of all, let us have some intro on Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy's past accomplishments and his future goals. So, Alagiri Govindasamy is the director of 2 startups, Future Connect, a dedicated Industry 4.0 industry training and mentoring platform, and PMC Global Systems, which is a leading Industry 4.0 system integrator. Alagiri is an active industry professional with more than 2 decades of experience, out of which 14 years is corporate and 11 years in his entrepreneurial role as consulting and integration of Industry 4.0. Focusing on Industry 4.0, ERP advisory, supply chain, turnaround consulting for signature clients from India and overseas has been his forte. He spent more than 10 years out of India, worked from 18 countries spread across all the 6 continents, and held various leadership roles at top companies like TVS, Satyam, and Wipro Technologies. He has also managed massive outsourcing engagement from Wipro Technologies to the tune of $10 million to $100 million from Fortune 500 clients like Cargill, Nike, Johnson, Diversey, and GSK. Nowadays, he's collaborating with top companies to chart out tactical strategic Industry 4.0 strategy roadmaps, conducting Industry 4.0 assessment workshops, and conducting customized Industry 4.0 training programs for corporates and business schools. He is instrumental in developing a unique Industry 4.0 solution to address MSME sector pain points in pay-per-use, no capex, scalable, and highly affordable business model. His education credentials include BE Mechanical Engineering from Bharati Dasan University and MS from BITS Pilani. So, without much ado, I think let's invite Mr. Alagiri to deliver his all-important talk on Indian MSMEs to adopt Industry 4.0 technology capabilities, urgent need for mentorship and acceleration program. The stage is yours, Mr. Alagiri.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Alok. Good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen across the world. It's my pleasure to be here. Let me start my screen. Yeah, is my screen visible to everyone? Yeah, Mr. Alok, is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
absolutely. Yeah. So my sincere thanks to CITSA, Sorbit University, Ordo, and Professor Moni for giving this opportunity. Today I'm going to talk about the role of MSMEs.
Mr. Alagiri, you can, just 1 minute, you can hide the last one, hide one so that, that line doesn't come. It may abstract your other content. At the top of the...
Okay, this one, isn't it?
That's high. Okay. You can move to somewhere. Okay, fine. No problem.
What about now? Is it okay?
Yes, fine. Good.
Yeah, it's okay now. It's okay.
Yeah, thank you. So today I'm going to talk about the role of MSMEs, micro, small, medium industries for Indians' economic growth, as well as how we can leverage Industry 4.0 to take MSME to the next level for India as well as rest of the world. So I'm from 2 startups, Future Connect, a purpose-built Industry 4.0 training platform from India, and PMC Global Systems, and we are leading Industry 4.0 system integrator. We are in the industry for last 5 years, doing only Industry 4.0 projects. And today agenda, so we are going to see why we need to focus on MSME, how it is going to create a major impact for Indian economy. And yes, everyone is talking about Industry 4.0 and why it is all the more important to leverage Industry 4.0 for MSMEs growth. Yeah. And but even big companies are struggling to adopt Industry 4.0, and what we can do as a corporate citizens as well as a citizen of India to help MSMEs to adopt Industry 4.0. And in fact, we are going to talk about a couple of suggestions from our side. For example, we need to go for a purpose-built accelerator program, and also we need to go for serious mentorship program. Okay, so this is a overall agenda for next 15 minutes talk from my side. I think all of you can raise questions at the end of the session. So we are going to allocate 10 minutes for question answer session. Okay. Come to the MSME. And this data we taken from Indian government website. And as of now, we have around 83 lakhs MSME companies across India. So almost 8.4 million companies. Just imagine. Okay. And out of 84 lakhs companies, the micro industries got around 90% total share. So micro industries means less than 5 crores investment around 0.7 million US dollar, and we can find these micro industries anywhere, everywhere, not only from India, across the world. A small machine shop or small business with 5 or 10 people, right? And the next one is small and medium, so they are occupying remaining 12%. And if you see this, the role played by manufacturing and service sector, and MSME is occupying almost important position from both manufacturing and service sector. So manufacturing, they are contributing on 41% and services 59%. Okay. Having said that, it is very apparent the MSME role is very, very critical for Indian economy success. And come to the employability, okay, unbelievable. And it's providing employment opportunity for 4.6 crore Indian citizens. Okay. And in fact, in last year, we added almost 1 crore employment opportunity only from MSME sector. Okay. It is one of the stable employment platform for India, I would say. And in terms of investment, again, mind-blowing numbers. They are investing close to 11.62 lakhs crores, almost $140 billion on various investment as part of the business. It is much, much bigger than the big companies are investing on the economy on daily basis. Okay. So this explains why we need to really bother about MSMEs, why we need to help them to take to the next level. Okay. And it is very, very vibrant and dynamic, and it is absolutely important that we need to safeguard MSME to achieve the inclusive growth for India. And one of the beauty about MSME, they are so robust. And even the latest global shock, MSMEs, they were functioning very good comparing with the big companies. The big companies taken a lot of hit, but MSMEs almost done fantastic job. Okay. And in fact, nowadays everyone is talking about startup, right? Like anyone coming from business school, they need to do the startup system. But by essence, all MSME founders and owners, they are entrepreneurs by themselves. It means that we got around 84 lakhs born or unqualified or uneducated successful entrepreneurs in India. Okay, because they are promoting MSME in all sense. And in fact, they are adding consistent and very good employment opportunity year on year. The data already proved that one. Okay. And in fact, they are making a lot of positive states across manufacturing, service, and whatnot. All domains they are into. As they are providing second largest employment next to agriculture for India, and they are contributing close to more than 30% India's GDP. Yeah. Now, all of us know that Indian government, we want to achieve $5 trillion economy by 2025. Okay. And since MSME is playing almost 37% of GDP, I think it is not possible to achieve $5 trillion by 2025 without taking MSME to the next stage in the global market. Very apparent. And to add some more information about the Indian government plan, yes, by 2020, we want to achieve $5 trillion, absolutely fine. And out of $5 trillion, 25% we want to get it from manufacturing, okay, by 2025. It means that only for manufacturing alone, we need to generate $1.25 trillion, right? And what is the current status? It's not even $0.576 trillion because the current economy is almost $3.6 trillion, and we have only 16% manufacturing contribution. The challenge is, if we compare these two numbers, where we want to go and what is the current status, we need to fill almost $0.67 trillion by next 4 years. So ladies and gentlemen, you ask question by yourself, is it not necessary to help MSMEs to adopt digital transformation? The answer is astoundingly yes, we have to help. Okay. So it is very clear, so we need to help MSMEs, that's why we are conducting today's session. And at the same time, all of us know, the MSMEs, they are bleeding and is struggling for the survival, right? Unfortunately, when you talk about MSMEs from India, they are more focused about Indian subcontinent. They are not focusing on international market. But reality, there is huge opportunity for MSMEs from international market. But they don't know how to go there. And in fact, lack of digital tools. Any MSME going to leverage Industry 4.0, the doors are wide open. They can go to any part of the world in terms of service sector, they can do very good business. And also, we see the operating principles for a lot of MSMEs, they are using outdated principles, right? And also they are facing acute labor shortages, skill shortages, because they can't be able to afford a proper training program for incoming floating population like ITAs and diplomas. And also in terms of the investment capacity, definitely they are lagging behind company with big companies from India. And in fact, if you go to any companies, MSME, you always see very old machineries, 20, 30 years old. There is no other way. We need to live with it. And also, most of the case, you couldn't find the full utilization of the resources, either manpower or machineries. And also, they are facing economies of scale because they can't go for large deal because they couldn't able to produce a large quantity of product and services. And also, many times the machineries from MSMEs going for frequent maintenance issues. Okay, high wastages. In fact, I'm listing only a couple of challenges mentioned by MSMEs. In fact, the actual list is very big. Okay, couple of important takeaways. It is very clear that the founders or owners of MSMEs are not aware about Industry 4.0, or they do have some fear factor in the mind. Okay. And in fact, their way of operation is absolutely outdated. And they always think that the moment we talk about digital transformation or Industry 4.0, they feel that it is expensive, like in millions or in lakhs. No, 25,000 rupees, we can do wonderful IoT solution or an analytics solution for MSMEs. In fact, recently we did a project for a TVS group of companies. 25,000 rupees, we delivered an IoT solution for rejection bin mechanism from production line along with mobile application. Just imagine, not even 25,000. That's the power of digital transformation. And in fact, if you see this YesBank report, the fourth largest bank from India, they did a massive study on 2019. So they conducted a close to 5-month survey. They reached out to 2,700 MSMEs from 20 industries across India, present with, and they found that only 5% MSMEs are using some kind of digital transformation. Okay, and even these 5% companies, they achieved a lot of business benefits in terms of increased bottom line. It means profitability, high revenue, and more customer satisfaction. But even these 5% companies, they are facing a lot of hurdles in their journey. They couldn't find the skilled manpower. They couldn't find that support from different stakeholders. Okay, so what is the takeaway? The answer is stark reality is remaining 95% of MSMEs yet to embrace Industry 4.0. It means it's a large vacuum available, right? Unless otherwise, these 95% MSMEs start Industry 4.0, we cannot think about $5 trillion economy by 2024. So it is a need of the hour. Every stakeholder from India, we need to unite together and we need to help MSMEs in all possible ways. Okay. And in fact, Mr. Moni is talking about the UNIDOS event happened on June 2019. In fact, the Indian representative made a very good comment saying that India is the unique country in the world. It got excellent and extraordinary socio-cultural economic system. And in fact, we need to go for our Indian version of Industry 4.0. We cannot simply copy from US or Germany or Japan. They are developed countries, right? Their education system is completely different from the Indian system. The economic system is completely different from the Indian system. So it is highly impractical to copy from anywhere in the world. Instead, we need to sit together and think twice and create our own Indian version of Industry 4.0. And he said that so far the Indian MSMEs, we were focusing on low-cost indigenous solution, like a jugad way of operating business. That is good until now, but going forward, the MSME is supposed to move towards embracing Industry 4.0 and more process-oriented. Put standard operating procedures. Okay, try to make unorganized MSME into organized sector. Okay, the question is it possible by one stakeholder from India? No. Okay, governments, entities, state government, central government, industry bodies, chamber of commerce, and the big OEMs of India, they need to unite together and they need to help MSMEs in all possible ways. Okay, so the question is, yes, everyone is talking about Industry 4.0. A couple of examples how Industry 4.0 will really help MSMEs. The number one is, okay, they will go to the global market. They can go to the internet. They can create artificial intelligence programs or analytics program that can easily find out there is a place from anywhere in the world for the goods and services. And right now, they do not get the chance. They are at the mercy of OEMs of India, right? They cannot cross Indian borders. But Industry 4.0 will open a wide door for all MSMEs from India. And next one is intelligent way of doing business. So what happens? Many MSCs still only few people are taking decision based on our own legacy thinking, right? Own experience. Okay, but world is moving very fast. Right? It is a time to take data-based decision, facts-based decision. Right? And if you talk about Industry 4.0, there are a lot of beautiful tools available like analytics, okay, predictive analytics, artificial intelligence, right, and blockchain. So all these emerging technologies will help industries, MSMEs, to take facts-based decision going forward. And also the technical know-how or best practice anywhere in the world, they can easily grasp from the internet, right? They need not go to the government agencies. They need not go to these OEMs to get these best practices. It is available at the fingertip to them by Industry 4.0. And also they can leverage the maximum utilization of resources, okay? Better appreciation of the value system chain. For example, if they start using 3D printing, okay, they can launch the new product within, let us say, 6 to 7 weeks against 2 years time period. Okay, and go for a design board, create a lot of innovative product by leveraging 3D printing, give to the customer, impress and grow the business. Okay. And also they can go for shorter product life cycle and they can increase customer satisfaction in all possible manner. Okay. The point is that essentially one fine day, today or tomorrow or next week or next month, they need to kickstart their digital transformation journey. And come to this Industry 4.0, it is a buzzword. Everywhere you can read, you know, energy 4.0, education 4.0. I think except father 4.0, mother 4.0, you can see 4.0 anywhere, everywhere. Yeah. And why there is a massive buzz happen for Industry 4.0? Because it's a true global movement. Okay. In fact, governments across the world, not only Indian government, like, you know, Sweden and Brazil and US, all governments, they're investing billions of dollars to promote Industry 4.0. Okay. And governments declared a national Industry 4.0 policy. In fact, our central government of India, we declared a Industry 4.0 policy for Indian corporates, right? And it is called as different names across the world. The Industry 4.0 is a global name, but the US it is called as Industrial Internet, and China it is called as Industry Internet Plus. And you know, you can see each government starting from India, Mexico, Brazil, they declared the policy. And in fact, they formed a special ministry to focus on digital transformation, penetration for their country and corporates. Okay. And come to this, why Industry 4.0 for MSME. This slide is very important because let us think about MSME perspective. They are small players, right? And right now they have the physical assets like age-old machineries or, you know, resources. And unfortunately or fortunately, our MSMEs, they are not using sophisticated digital systems. They are using some kind of entry-level IT systems because they can't invest millions to go for sophisticated ERP system like SAP or, you know, PeopleSoft or big IT system. No way. They're using Tally or Excel sheet or, you know, Word document and whatever up to their capacity. Okay. And also you can witness they are using age-old machines, 20, 30 years old machine. But it is unfair to ask them, you know, you need to go for latest computer-enabled control machine and invest, you know, $1 million. They can't do it. But what we can do, okay, we can start installing the IoT devices sensors to measure the critical parameters from the production process. For example, temperature or, you know, pressure or, you know, flow. A lot of sensors available. In fact, you can buy the sensor for less than, you know, $5 from the market, 500 rupees, right? And this is easily doable. Okay. We understand that the machines are old. It is not going to stop the journey. Try to install the sensor. Try to get the data. Your Industry 4.0 journey going to start the moment you are getting data from the processor machineries. And come to the digital world. We know the limitation posed to the MSMEs, but the cloud is coming to the picture. Okay, cloud is offering all possible software and hardware system in the world at the doorstep to the MSMEs. Okay. For example, I can buy a supercomputing power for 1 week. If you want to buy the supercomputer, I need to shell out almost $1 million. But from the Amazon Web Service, I can rent the supercomputing power for 1 week, for example. What happens if the MSMEs got the right mindset? The moment they got the data, they can convert everything into the cloud platform and they can start leveraging emerging technologies like, you know, blockchain or, you know, analytics, artificial intelligence, or robotic process automation. And what happens today, unfortunately, the human beings or some decision maker from MSMEs, they are taking all decisions because the IT system is not robust enough and all decisions they are taken by these human beings. What happens when MSME is going to embrace Industry 4.0? We are going to collect together. We are going to make the digital system more intelligent so that it is going to talk with the physical will automatically, and we are eliminating the inefficient role played by the human being here. And these human beings, they can focus on core activities, for example getting more business. Do not worry about operational parameters, because we made the system is more intelligent. It is going to manage by itself. You go and do the value proposition activities for MSMEs. That is called as cyber physical system. So the inclusive system wherein digital as well as physical systems are talking and working together, and we are freeing up employees' time for value creation activities for MSMEs. So this is the ultimate aim for the whole Industry 4.0 journey from MSME perspective. And in fact, the moment we talk about Industry 4.0, I usually call ecosystem, because we are not talking about one technology. We are easily talking about 10 different technologies. You could see here big data, augmented reality, virtual reality, cloud, and this diagram doesn't have blockchain and Internet of People. What happens? Any emerging technology become part of Industry 4.0 in coming years. And what is so special with Industry 4.0? Because we are talking about multiple technologies, 9 to 10 different technologies, and fortunately, unfortunately, it's happening same time. When you talk about Industry 3.0, we were talking about the chip discovery, right? And Industry 2.0, we were talking about the electricity and mass production system. Industry 1.0, we are talking only about the steam engine innovation. But now we are talking about 10 different technologies. And we can witness that many companies from the world, they started all the technologies simultaneous mode. They are using RPA, robotic process automation. They are using 3D printing. So there is no limitation. And also there is no difference between developed countries and developing countries. Any company with right human strength, they can start this journey. All you need is less investment. Okay? And it is applicable for all industries, becoming a global concept. Yeah. And reality, none of the industry can escape from Industry 4.0. Then we cannot think about MSMEs. So they need to embrace one fine day. Yeah? And the application of Industry 4.0 probably can vary from industry to industry. For example, if you talk about banking sector, probably there is no scope for 3D printing usage, but 3D printing will be more useful to the manufacturing context. Yeah? So the impact is absolutely beyond anyone control, and companies embracing Industry 4.0, they are going to win from the tomorrow market. Otherwise, the laggards will be perished very soon. Okay. And the question is, I'm getting always from a lot of audience, is Industry 4.0 components are fixed? We're talking about 9, 10. No, it's an evolving system, and blockchain recently part of Industry 4.0, and there is a new technology emerging called the Internet of People. Like right now, if you want to go to Singapore, I need to carry Indian passport with the Singapore visa. But when IOP come to the picture, if you go to the Singapore government immigration authorities will scan my retina. They can find I'm Indian citizen. My name is Alagiri. I got Singapore visa. Right? What happens? The moment IOP come to the picture, when I go to the machineries, I need not enter my username password. The machine will scan my retina. It can treat me as another machine by itself. So everything will be seamless, right? So come to the point. So any emerging technology in the future will become Industry 4.0 ecosystem, and it's a global concept. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make, we cannot isolate or we cannot safeguard our MSMEs by not embracing Industry 4.0. We can safeguard for some time, couple of months or maximum year, but not forever. They'll be perished. And if you go to the internet, you can see 4.0 everywhere: logistics, energy, education, and whatnot. And let us come to the main point: why Industry 4.0 is more relevant for MSME as of now. Yes, it is relevant. Okay. So I'm going to put forth some important data points. And this particular report we got from World Economic Forum 2016, and this shows that the amount of effort taken by the world economies or world countries to go for digital way of doing business, the Network Readiness Index. As per this report, Singapore is #1 country in the world. It means the entire government and the citizens and the corporates, they adopted a digital way of doing business. And here you could see India right now on 2016, we were at 91. We are waiting for the latest report from World Economic Forum. We are expecting India supposed to be around 50 or 60 positions. Okay. The point is that the world is fighting for digital supremacy. And any world government without MSME support, they cannot go up in this the prestigious chart. Okay. And this report we taken from Deloitte consulting company, one of the prestigious company in the world. And this explains the global manufacturing competitiveness. They did a survey across global CEOs on 2016. As per 2016, the India were at 11th position, but they are projecting India is supposed to reach 5th position by 2020 by this year. What does it mean? It means that our CEOs, Indian CEOs from big companies, they are watching on Industry 4.0. Now talk about MSMEs, who they are. They are supplying services and product to our big companies, right? And unless otherwise our MSMEs embrace digital transformation, they may not be able to meet our own executives' expectations from Industry 4.0. And unfortunately, they will go to the global market or global MSMEs from different countries to procure services and goods very soon. Okay. So it is there is a pressing need for our MSMEs to go for Industry 4.0 as early as possible, I would say. And there are two important data points I want to talk about it. And this report we taken from PricewaterhouseCoopers, a recent report, and they conducted a global survey and Indian survey. So they were asking questions to all global CEOs, and what is the current digital way of doing business? They told 33%. And what you want to become after 5 years, 72%. Okay. And they asked the same question from Indian CEOs, and they told 27%. There is no big difference. We are as good as international standard. And in our own Indian CEOs told by next 5 years, we want to reach 63% digital way of doing business. Right? And also they told that across organization ecosystem, it could be production or new product development or support functions, they want to penetrate Industry 4.0 to almost 80%. Okay. Again, these data points put a strong pressure on MSMEs. If any MSME want to continue the way of doing business with our own big companies, they have to embrace Industry 4.0 coming days or digital way of doing business. Otherwise, unfortunately, our companies, big companies will go to the international market to source the right product and services. And in fact, again, this data reports we got from the same PricewaterhouseCoopers reports, and all our executives, they are asking a lot of benefit from Industry 4.0. So they are expecting 10% increase in efficiency. What is the current reality? The companies are struggling to achieve 2% cost efficiency, but they want to get 10% from digital transformation. And they want to go for 10% cost reduction. This is very, very dangerous statement, because any company is talking about cost reduction, immediately they will call the supplier, saying that at our organization level, we want to go for 10% cost reduction. I am going to reduce 10% cost for the goods and services I am going to procure from you. What happens? All MSMEs eventually going to face the cost pressure from our OEMs from India. It is better for our MSMEs to start the journey and get ready to face a tough time in the coming days or coming months. Okay. And here, this data shows that, and most of the Indian CEOs, they are ready to invest almost 8% of total revenue on R&D and Industry 4.0 technologies in the coming years. Okay. 8% is too good. The world average is 6%. If we talk about Western companies, they are investing 5 to 6% on R&D, and we are going to surpass the world average. Okay. And here again, our Indian CEOs, they are generous in terms of return of investment, because they are ready to invest on emerging technologies, but they are ready to wait up to 5 years. Very decent period. Okay. And there are some MNC companies where we are dealing with, and they are asking 10 months return of investment for Industry 4.0 technologies. Just imagine, I'll invest now, but within 10 months, I want to get the money back. But company with those MNC companies, our Indian CEOs are, much liberal, and, they are giving enough time to prove the technology. Okay. And in fact, here I'm going to talk about our experience when we deal with a large company from India. And we are dealing with billion-dollar companies and 1,000 crore companies. And even these IT managers and the senior management people, they are literally confused. Okay. What to start, where to start, when to start. And these people are coming from prestigious universities like MIT from US or IIT from India, IIMs. Even they are getting confused, right? And even they want to wait for some time. They want to watch how the competitors are adopting Industry 4.0, right? And in fact, they want to become very, very careful for unproven technologies like emerging technologies. And the same executive team, they are very comfortable with the proven technologies. If they want to invest $1 million for SAP ERP, they will approve immediately, because they know that they are going to the ROI within 4 or 5 years. But if you approach the same CEO and ask for 10 lakhs for Industry 4.0, for example, we want to create analytics program, and they will say no, because they have the fear factor on the mind, right? Okay, and also when we explain the potential benefit from Industry 4.0, many executives cannot be able to appreciate and visualize. For example, if you do the proper robotic process automation implementation, one software robot can easily replace 8 people from service function. If you say this in a benefit to the CEOs, they may not believe first of all. Okay. The point I'm trying to make, even that educated big shots from big companies are getting confused. And think about MSMEs. They are small players, right? And not so much educated like players. Okay. And definitely they will be confused. That's why we need to go for a very good mentoring mechanism. We need to clear the doubt. We need to showcase the way, right? This is the step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. And we need to go for the Accelerator program. You kickstart the process today, next 1 or 2 years, you need to start using Industry 4.0. Okay. And this industry stand is giving a clear picture, the status of MSME, where they are belongs to. Okay. And here, in fact, we are doing a lot of Industry 4.0 assessment for big companies, and we are collecting data from 10 vital organization parameters, like what is the digital leadership. If the leadership team is really believing Industry 4.0 or not. Okay. What is the employee scale? What is the way of current operations, so and so. The whole assessment, we are helping companies to understand where they are standing in terms of digital transformation and where they want to go and how they can achieve the whole process. We are giving the consulting activities. Now, based on that assessment, we usually divide the companies into 5 categories. Number 1 is the digitization. Now they are doing manual activities, just replaced by the IT system. That is a foundation stone for the entire digital journey, right? And many companies, they started using IT system and they started leveraging some low-hanging fruits like RFID, barcode, and QR code. And here they are doing data automation. They don't want to leverage human beings, but the system will do the data automation. Okay. And also a couple of companies started leveraging the entry-level Industry 4.0 technologies like sensors, analytics, and RPA and AR/VR. And there are few companies from India, they started exploring high levels of Industry 4.0 ecosystem. Now, if we talk about MSME, if we want to put the MSME in the whole picture, I would say our MSMEs are here. Most of the case, I'm not saying all, most of the MSMEs, they can fit here. It means that we are talking about 85 lakhs MSMEs, 8.5 million MSMEs, right? Just imagine the way they need to travel. Long way to go. Okay. And without a sufficient accelerator program or sufficient help from the different stakeholders, the 85 lakhs MSMEs cannot proceed further. Okay. And in fact, I'm going to clarify a couple of doubts from many people's minds, because they usually getting confused with the 3 different terms, like what is digitalization, automation, digitalization, and digital transformation. Okay. So let me start with the foundation one. This is a maturity level. And what is digitalization? There are some companies, even they are doing the manual activities. They are putting everything on the paper. Okay. The whole starting point, the digital transformation, you need to put some IT system, eliminate the manual activity that we call as the digitalization. And I would say even most of the micro industries, they are using the manual way of doing work. Okay, so we need to encourage them to adopt some kind of IT system in place. Now, the moment they start using IT system, the next logical migration could be they need to start some low-hanging automation tool like RFID and barcode and QR code. Okay. And what happens here? We are eliminating manual data entry. It is not the industry 4.0 digital transformation. Okay. Here we are not going to add any intelligence to the IT system. We are simply replace human beings and RFID will capture the data, put to the IT system. Now, the moment we talk about Industry 4.0, we are talking about close to 10 different technologies, right? Okay. Now, I take an example for copper bars. In fact, we did a project for the K in India, a part of Vedanta Group, and they are exploring oil from Rajasthan. And what happens, they had a very big warehouse. Unfortunately, such a big company, they were using manual warehouse management system. So what happened, we did a digital solution with RPA and Microsoft SharePoint, and it is working very fine. Okay. So for any copper bots, any vendor want to take from the warehouse, nowadays they are using the digital solution. There is no more paper work. Now, if you want to apply the same digitalization for this particular example, what happens, right now, any employee want to get the copper bots, they need to go to the store, and there will be a store person available, right? They will take the copper bar and they will enter the data into the system manually, ERP system. Okay. Assume that if we install this RFID or barcode or QR code, I need to put the barcode on the copper bar, right? The moment it's taken from the shelf, automatically data will be captured and come to the ERP system. And the data will go to the supplier for any requisition process initiation. What happens here? I'm eliminating the necessity of storekeeper at all. The employees can go and someone can take the material, immediately data will come to the ERP system. Okay. Now, for the same case, if you want to leverage digital transformation, for example, right now in India, many companies, they are procuring copper bars from Hindustan Copper Limited. They usually go for the hedging concept. They want to avoid the price fluctuations. They go for 1 or 2 years in a contract, right? And assume that they are paying, let us say, $10 per kilogram of copper, and I'm going to leverage a data analytics program. I'm going to develop a very good program. So this program will watch the world market, like London Metal Exchange or New York Metal Exchange, and assume that it is going to spot a vendor who is ready to supply, let us say, $5 per kg copper for next 1 year, and that is what I want. And what happens right now? I'm paying $10 from Hindustan Copper Limited, but I can easily find a very good supplier off of the cost. I can go ahead and place the order. And right now, no MSME got the capability, but the data analytics program will enable them to acquire the capability. Okay, I'm talking only about one technology from Industry 4.0. We have 10 to 12 technologies as of now. Okay. So this is the power of digital transformation. Now, all MSMEs is supposed to start the journey from here, and slowly they need to reach here. It's a long journey. And I'm going to talk about a typical Industry 4.0 architecture we are doing for big companies. I'm going to explain how best we can leverage the same architecture for our MSMEs. All we know, data is the new oil, right? And yes, many companies, big companies, they are using IT system, but the data is not up to the mark. And think about in MSMEs, I'm sure none of the MSMEs or most of the MSMEs doesn't have latest IT system. So we assume that there is no more data available from the current IT system. And here, many companies started using the social media. And when we talk about our customer segment MSME, assume that they are not using the social media. So let us discount the two part. Now, assume that our friends MSMEs, they are using very old machines to generate the data. I'm going to install the sensors, right? Okay. Now the sensor is going to create the data. The moment I talk about sensor, we are talking about IoT devices that are absolutely necessary to start the Industry 4.0 journey. And what happens many times? Okay, these sensors are generating numeric data, or like emojis or PDF documents or video recording. What happens when you do any statistical analysis? You need data in 0 or 1, right? That's why we need to go for big data platform. What happens when you get data from any one of the channels that contains unstructured data, like emojis or photos, and we are going to write some logic here that is going to convert unstructured into structured one, like 0 and 1s. That's where we can start our analytics program. Okay, and the moment you start using the analytics program, probably you can go for artificial intelligence capability in the near future, and this is the whole maturity level. Okay, and this is a framework we are suggesting for big companies. Now come to our customer focus MSME today. What happens? Okay, definitely they need to start leveraging some kind of sensors to measure the operational parameters, and they need not go for the big data, just high investment affair. And what they can do, they can pass the data to the cloud platform, Amazon Web Service or Azure. They can start leveraging analytics. For example, I'm having 10 machines. By leveraging the data from the machines, I can predict next month this machine is going to get breakdown. That is the 16th of April, morning 10 o'clock. Okay. And if you want to go for AI, the AI will say that yes, 16th April 10 o'clock, the machine is going to get breakdown, and what he will do? Probably go and change the engine oil, or increase the temperature, decrease the temperature. Okay. So let us talk about this advanced feature. At least our MSMEs can start using these sensors and start using the cloud, and start leveraging data analytics. Okay. And the whole journey will not take much effort from the MSMEs. I think less than 50,000 rupees or $500. They can start using some sensor and cloud platform and analytics program. Okay. My sincere request to all MSMEs: the moment you talk about Industry 4.0, do not think that you are going to invest millions of dollars. No. Okay. Less than $500, we can do wonders for you. Okay. Let us go to the big picture. Okay. And we know that IoT, big data, data analytics, and artificial intelligence will do great work. And where we can apply for MSMEs. In fact, the entire MSME ecosystem, starting from inbound logistics, the operational activities, outbound marketing services, wherever you have the pain points and wherever you have the data points, definitely we can leverage the analytics. Sky is the limit. Okay, and we already seen the operational challenges faced by MSMEs, and most of the challenges are coming from operation. But this is the area we can leverage the data analytics to create wonders for MSMEs. The question is, yes, you are talking about 10 different technologies. Here you are talking only about 4 different technologies. What about remaining 6? The answer is here. And there is a promising solution from virtual reality and augmented reality. And right now, many MSMEs, they are facing skill shortages, right? They do not find the skilled laborers. In fact, okay, this VR and AR is giving a wonderful opportunity for them to train n number of people with limited investment. For example, I'm running a small MSME company. I want to recruit a person for, let us say, drilling operation or welding operation, and I need to give the training program to them, right? If you want to give the proper welding training program for 1 month, I need to have minimum 5,000 rupees or $600 US. Yes, I need to buy the welding gun, welding consumables, electricity, and training center and trainers, right? And just imagine if you want to train 100 people for 1 year, go like anything. So instead, assume that I'm going to develop a gadget, virtual reality gadget for welding training, for example, 2 or 3 lakh rupees. That's all. Then you can start training indefinite number of entry-level people. There is no limitation for virtual reality. I can train even 1 lakh people, doesn't matter. So one-time investment. Okay. So what I'm saying that this virtual reality is a golden opportunity for all MSMEs to address the training requirement to inject the new resources. And come to the 3D printing. Again, wonderful opportunity. And 3D printing will empower the MSMEs to go for introduce the new product within 6 weeks or 7 weeks. So buy a 3D printer for, let us say, 50,000 rupees and model your new product and make it the scalable model and show to the customer. And if you want to follow the traditional model, you need to wait for 2 years. Okay. And it is going to empower the MSMEs to go to the next stage. Yeah. And come to the robotic process automation. A kind of software robots, and we already seen 51% MSMEs are focusing on service sector like BPOs, information technology, insurance, right? And these RPA programs will replace lot of employees, and we can deploy them to the area where they can add more value to the companies. And I would say by designing one software robot, we can easily replace 8 people. Okay. And within 2 months, companies will get the ROI. Just imagine, within 60 days, they can get the ROI. And to create any robotic process automation with AI path, you need to shell out, I think, 4 lakh rupees, one-time investment. Yeah. And come to the simulation, though it is a old one, right now, the software got a lot of benefits. What happens? MSMEs, before making any investment, they can do the permutation combination of multiple parameters and go for the best options. Okay. And the question is, yes, I'm going to use one of the system where I'm going to run. I don't have any server. I don't have any IT department. Do not worry about it. That's why this cloud is coming picture. Okay. Pay, let us say, 10,000 rupees to Amazon Web Service or Microsoft Azure, and get your server, get all necessary programs, start running. Okay. Kind of plug and play. Within 2 days, I can put everything and start leveraging Industry 4.0 by leveraging cloud and blockchain. Okay. Let us not talk about blockchain because it is meant for big companies. Yeah. And come to the cybersecurity. What happens the moment you talk about Industry 4.0? You're opening up to the internet, right? And you are the mercy of the hackers. So eventually, all Industry 4.0 products are coming with cybersecurity as a byproduct. Without cybersecurity, you can't run your factory in the internet way of doing business. So this particular architecture explains how MSMEs can leverage various elements from Industry 4.0. And fortunately, all this investment will be less than 3 lakh rupees. Okay. And if any MSME cannot afford 3 lakh rupees, probably the MSME association, they can invest and give that, virtual reality trading gadget to all MSMEs members, right? And they can buy the 3D printing machine for lakh rupees and give it to their members for tryout. And they invest for robotic process automation implementation that the members get benefit. They can pay based on the usage model. Yeah. And yeah, since we are talking about digital transformation, most of the components are virtual. Virtual means you cannot touch. Okay. So I have the computers, I'm doing presentation, but I can't touch the presentation, right? And only few components I can touch and feel. For example, 3D printing, I can take that 3D printer machines on my hand. And also the virtual reality, augmented reality, I can touch, I can put it on my eyes. Because most of the rest of that, Industry 4.0 components, virtual. You can't see it, but you can experience, right? That's the beauty of Industry 4.0. And yes, so there is no limitation of MSMEs. They can definitely go for any one of the technology based on which industry they belongs to. And in fact, the investment is very, very less. So less than 25,000 rupees, we can do IoT solution. Less than 3 lakh rupees, we can go for augmented reality, virtual reality, and robotic process automation. Right? Now, come to the way forward. So we discussed the importance about MSMEs, and we discussed how Industry 4.0 will help MSMEs, and we discussed about different technologies. The question is, how best we can help our MSMEs? And we need to understand the fact, miracle cannot happen overnight. We are talking about how many MSMEs? 85 lakhs MSMEs across India, 8.5 million MSMEs. So definitely need a coordinate assault on the current inefficient system from different stakeholders, and we need to create the awareness among MSMEs, and we need to mentor them. We need to provide the skilled manpower on different technologies, and we need to provide the support ecosystem. And finally, we need to go for a robust accelerator program for Indian MSMEs. And the question is, any one stakeholder can do this one? Unfortunately, no. And it should be come from many stakeholders like government, the state government, the federal government. They need to come forward, right? They need to use generous funding schemes, and the finance institution, they need to offer less interest loan to the MSMEs to adopt Industry 4.0. And Chamber of Commerce, they have to take a very big role. And the MSME Association, I think Professor Moni is talking about MSME cluster in India. Everywhere you can see a set of MSMEs, and these MSMEs are controlled by a local, association, right? And they need to play a very big role. The industry bodies like FICCI or CII, they need to take the big role. And corporates, this is very important because in India we have very big companies like Tata Groups or TVS Group, and this is a time for big companies come forward and come out of the own comfort zone, take care of their own suppliers, MSMEs. Okay, they need to put genuine effort. They need to start mentoring the MSMEs. They will take the ownership. Yes, I'm going to take 100 MSMEs. By next 1 year, all 100 will start leveraging Industry 4.0. In fact, if required, even the government can make a CSR law and they can force all corporates to help MSMEs. There is the need of the hour. Yeah. Okay, let us talk about the accelerator program. How best we can help MSMEs, and this is the thought process from my end. Okay, I put forth this idea, and definitely we need to go for a structured and methodological framework, and it should differ from the available framework because available frameworks are somewhat inefficient. Okay, we need to go for a different way of doing business with MSMEs, yeah? And this framework supposed to be driven by Industry 4.0 experts, and there shouldn't be any place for bureaucrats or any people other than experts. Right? And we need to put some time-bound strategy. Anyone want to come for the accelerator program? Within 1 year, you need to start using the sensor and analytics program. Within 2 years, you need to start using the artificial intelligence or some other component. We need to put a tight deadline for all participants from MSME sector. And yes, the very first one is we need to create the awareness. What is Industry 4.0? How best it is going to help them in all aspects. And we need to go for skill building program. Right? And also, we need to introduce and who is the Industry 4.0 hardware and software vendors. Yes, MSME want to kickstart the journey, but where they will get the necessary technologies and skill sets. So we need to create the pool of Industry 4.0 hardware and software vendors. In fact, we are one of the leading software vendors. Okay. And also, we need to create a like-minded pool from the industry wherein they can exchange ideas, MSME pool. And yes, the funding is very important because MSME is as usual, they're struggling for the survival, they're bleeding, right? So unless otherwise the generous funding scheme from the different stakeholders, they cannot think about this whole journey. And the sustained mentoring, they can flatter. Okay, but we need to do the proper, guidance and mentoring scheme so that they can succeed in the whole accelerator journey. And who can do that one? Again, it should come from different stakeholders altogether. Yeah, but the point taken, only the experts need to drive the whole show, otherwise it becomes failure one. And come to this mentoring program, and I have different thought process as an individual. And in fact, Professor Moni is talking about big companies from India, like billion-dollar companies or big companies. We call them as original equipment manufacturers. Right? All MSMEs essentially they are supplying material or service to the big companies in India. Right? And this is a time the big companies need to come out of the own comfort zone, start adopting the MSMEs to go for Industry 4.0. So I would say that, in fact, if you see the US, German, Japan model, in fact, if you notice the Ford factory anywhere in the world, Asia Pacific, they got 2 factories, one from Chennai and one from Thailand. Always they are bringing the US companies in and around the Ford factory. In Chennai, we have Magna Crusher. We have the leading door manufacturing company for Ford. They have Delphi. They have, Vistia. Right? So what happens? The moment Ford introduce some technology, immediately they will call that, all suppliers saying that you start enjoying the technology. Right? And if you see any German company by Daimler or BMW, immediately they will, bring the Bosch or, Continental to the target countries. And see for Japanese companies, Toyota, and you can always the Denso and Esaki near to the Toyota factories. What happens? These matured economies, there is a strong inclusive mechanism between the big companies and MSMEs. Okay? Big companies grow, MSME companies also grow in terms of investment as well as technology transfer. But I don't know about India, but unfortunately, I couldn't find as the industry professional the cohesive relationship between Indian OEMs, for example, Tata Group of companies with the TVS Group of companies. And TVS is the largest auto ancillary supplier to Tata Motors. But what we notice, we see the transaction relationship, right? I sell, you give the money, that's all. There is no good relationship. I think going forward, we need to make it a kind of inclusive system. And in fact, governments can make a CSR, corporate social responsibility, so that the big companies start mentoring the small companies for digital transformation. Because the small companies, they are supplying to the big companies. They are the customer, right? Unless otherwise the customer force the MSMEs, they cannot kickstart this the whole industry 4.0 journey. Okay? So this is my personal suggestions, not my organizational, input from our side. Yeah. So let me complete my session. So finally, what we need to make it happen, we need to go for a well-articulated national industry 4.0 policy to be executable. And all stakeholders are supposed to be involved. And yes, this is the time India as the country, we need to go with collaboration from many foreign countries, for example, US, Germany, EU, on Industry 4.0 technology transfer. Right? And also, we need to ask our industries to invest on R&D and Industry 4.0. And so far, only 2.5% investment is going to the IT system and R&D. But going forward, we need to start investing enough expenditure on Industry 4.0 ecosystem. And also, we need to instill, okay, the leadership supposed to go and adopt Industry 4.0 without any fear on the mind. There will be some failure, it's part of the business, right? And the OEM supposed to start the journey, and they need to include all MSMEs in the whole journey going forward. Having said that, we need to go for a strong collaboration between big companies and small companies. And also, we need to go for national level skill building program. Okay. When I talk about Future Connect, it is a purpose-filled Industry 4.0 skill building program. We are offering programs to the deemed universities for minor degree programs and corporates and higher education institution. We are offering elective courses for business school and engineering colleges. We are offering faculty development programs. Okay, but we are the very, very tiny player. We talk about whole India, and we need to go for nationwide purpose-filled Industry 4.0 skill building program, and we need to go for a robust Industry 4.0 accelerator framework. Okay, anyone come here, and within 1 year they need to kickstart the journey. That kind of confidence we need to give it to the MSMEs, and we need to go for mentoring framework. The mentoring framework is supposed to come from OEMs. They need to take the ownership. Okay, so I think let me stop here, Mr. Alok and Mr. Professor Moni. So I'm open for question and answer session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Alagiri, for giving a very detailed lowdown on Industry 4.0. And to all my colleagues who are very well aware or not very well aware about this concept of Industry 4.0, they can have one major takeaway, and this is a single sentence, is achieving business outcomes from manufacturing information. I repeat once again, achieving business outcomes from manufacturing information. So these are few words, which actually sums up what Industry 4.0 is trying to achieve for you. And basically, as you know, data is the new oil. You have a lot of information within the manufacturing unit, and as per the survey, most of this information is not used, never used. More than 75% of this data which is coming out in a manufacturing unit is never used for any meaningful purpose. So Industry 4.0 is turning this thing on its head. It is taking care of all the data and sensing out what data is relevant to your business objective, and then giving you meaningful insights, decisions, and intelligence. So, just to conclude and give it a more layman's shape to this highly technical talk, first by our colleague Professor Moni, and then our friend Mr. Alagiri, I would continue by saying that in a manufacturing unit, everything should and must start with customer experience. And you have to actually work it backwards. You have to work with the end in mind. What your customer wants, whether it's a B2B model or it's a B2C model, your factory might be selling it to a customer or a consumer, individual consumers, or it might be selling to another business. But in any case, the thing that should come to mind is the customer experience, what your customer wants, and then we have to work it backwards. What should we do to give customer what he or she wants? And this is the power of Industry 4.0, that 4.0 can do all the calculations, all the intelligence, bringing everything together, unified, all inventory, all operations, all quality, all maintenance, the salespeople, the enterprise IT, operational technology, the sales pitches, everything together as a singular movement, which basically works only for one objective. And that objective is to achieve what customer wants. And I would also leave you with a thought that there is a very nice book written by two very senior executives of Amazon who have helped Amazon become one of the biggest company in the human history. They have written this book, Working Backwards. And working backwards is exactly the same thing. They start with the customer experience and they work backward and they make the business idea and the model and the operational model and the systems and the principles. So it's a very good principle that I think can be used by our colleagues, both on the consulting and the supplier, technology supplier side, as well as the manufacturing units, the consumption side. And this particular philosophy will come very handy to understand the relevance of Industry 4.0 vis-a-vis what you want out of it. And definitely the ecosystem of Industry 4.0 expertise is building up in India very fast and very soon. And center like Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, CITSA. And we are very soon going to have an association with our international trade body of smart manufacturing, that is MESA, and that is Manufacturing Enterprise Solutions Association, which is headquartered in the US. And we are having a special interest group in India, and we are having a chapter in Singapore, which is chaired by the current CEO of Cantier. And so I think we have got the best from all over the world in India for you as a business owner, so that we can fulfill your business outcomes. We can achieve what you want out of business using very easy to follow data systems. And I think you can have 100x growth with 1/10 of efforts that you have been putting so far. So I would strongly urge that, as the presentation by Mr. Alagiri said, that starts with awareness. You should be interested in this concept of Industry 4.0, and that will come out of your curiosity. If you're curious, we will give you more information, then will come your interest, and then you will start loving this Industry 4.0. And once you start loving it, the transformation will start. Everything else will come sooner or later. The funds will come, the experts will come, but actually it starts with you. So with that, One more thing I would like to leave with you is that yes, there are certain Industry 4.0 readiness audits and surveys that our center is doing, whereby we are analyzing all the three pillars, the pillars of process, technology, and organization. And within process, we are taking care of the shop floor operations, the product life cycle management, and SCM. And on the technological side, we are taking care of connectivity, the automation, and intelligence. Intelligence is the data analytics, the artificial intelligence, deep learning, and all those things. And lastly, we are taking care of organization, the skilling of people, the management training, and strategic leadership training for elucidating the values of the organization, coming down to the leadership principles, coming down to articulating the culture, the digital culture of the organization, without which everything what I have said earlier may not work. So we are going to do a lot of audit and preparatory work along with our ecosystem involving the center, involving our trade body, involving experts like Mr. Alagiri, and the guides like Professor Moni, and so many people. And then we have some very good inputs from IITs of our country who are also working on this, and we are working with them. So we are very, very happy to have had this wonderful session, and hope we could add some value to your time. And if there are any questions, perhaps you can put it on the comments box, and our people sitting here will definitely direct them to us to try and address those questions. So, Manishji, if you may put in a written request, people may put their questions.
I think he has responded that so far no questions, and I'm very happy that both Mr. Alok Varshney and our guest speaker, Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy, they were able to elaborate completely the SWOT analysis associated with introducing or adaptation or adopting Industry 4.0 for MSMEs. It is, he has given not only the way forward, it is that we have the ways in which we have to walk. It is forward means it's up to the people to take it or not, but he has given in such a manner that and 84 lakhs units in the country, that, if they would like to get on to 5 trillion economy, if they become the part and parcel of 5 trillion economy by 2025, if they are not digitalized, then how our Indian economy will reach a $5 trillion economy? Not only 5 trillion, if these 84 lakhs units are digitalized, MSMEs, then it's not only 5 trillion, it can be 15 trillion. We can even cross China. I think we have to have a quantum jump. What our Honorable Prime Minister said in the 5 pillars, pillars, that we have to have a quantum jump in our economy using, the industry of today, this technology industry framework. And today's, the way in which, the points which both the guest speaker, Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy, and Mr. Alok Varshney, you put it very nicely that this 84 lakhs, MSMEs have to be put it on accelerator, framework and mentorship framework. It is essential. And, this is where that the industries like Mr. Alok Varshney, when he had a discussion with the university 4 years back, and it is materialized in 2018 in the form of a Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications. And before the start of the program, I was discussing with Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy that CITSA has an ambitious program of launching MBA for only SMEs. This also we have discussed in the Ministry of, with the Mission Director of Industry 4.0 of the Ministry of Heavy Industries. wherein FICCI and CII partners were also there. I have given that this, our university, through the Center of Industry 4.0 Technology and Application, we would like to concentrate Industry 4.0 technology promotion only for SMEs. Let other bodies take care of other things. That we are not interested in event organization. We are not interested in organizing events. And this 84 lakhs, industrial units are our targeted, audience, customers, and how to bring in the accelerator framework and a mentor framework, and also that mentorship framework, and also that they bring in a lot of, one is MBA program for, like what European Union is doing for, the AI enabled e-leadership. I was addressing last year for an international program in, Bulgaria. And the topic is that, our methodologies and so on and so forth as to how to go in for AI enabled e-leadership of SMEs in European Union. And here 84 lakhs units are, it is a very important, it's a big volume, it's a population. And it is an point which, Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy has mentioned it. And this gives our, important action point to be taken up from the CITSA, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application. And as a takeaway point from this very important, talk today on Indian MSMEs to adopt Industry 4.0 technology capabilities, urgent need for mentorship and accelerator program. I think, Mr. Alagiri, I'm very happy that you touched every aspect of, every keywords of this title. And 5 years back, 10 years back, German talked about Industry 4.0. 2014, India talked about Industry 4.0. Today, in 2021, it is an urgency to talk about mentorship and accelerator program. That shows that where we are, where to go. And it is an awakening address, very insightful address, very important address, and needed to do address. And why not we do it, and how to do it, and what to do it. And you completely eliminated the question of why we should do it. It is how to do it, what to do it, and why not we do it. So thank you very much, and I look forward your close association with the Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application to create an accelerator framework and a mentorship framework, and also to start a deep tech startup in every MSME cluster. There are 3,500 urban clusters of SMEs, 18,000 rural clusters of SMEs, and lakhs of KVICs. And I'm very happy when you give the statistics from 2016 to 2020. I think where is the impact of demonetization? The people said that demonetization has killed the industry. We heard all the newspapers wrote it, but your statistics, shows in a different, numbers. Starting from 2016 to 2000, in terms of number of units established, employability, and turnover, and so on and so forth. And this is the low-hanging fruits which we have to, go and invest. And after your talk, I'm also saying that with the stakeholder, I will also request Mr. CITSA, Mr. Alok Varshney, because his another nickname is CITSA. Mr. Alok Varshney is another nickname. He's a CITSA Alok Varshney, because I forced him to establish. That he may be feeling that why he invited Professor Moni to give an introductory remark at the Hotel Imperial when he was launching his technology product. So now he should be very thankful that he has got a nickname as a CITSA Alok Varshney. And this is very important to create. You talked about investment is a problem. How to take this, MSMEs to make them to realize that is we have to work out and angel investment group.
Yeah.
The thing is that today they say that let the government fund it. The government is made all the facilities available, but the SMEs have to take a decision how to take the benefits available from various investors available there. So by making deep tech startup, I think all three of us with the through the Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, you have created so many stakeholders. Let us have a one body to promote what you call this investment program for Accelerator framework and Mentorship framework. Through that, we should be in a position to attract the SMEs for MBA program, diploma program, PG diploma program. Let them attend and let them go and operationalize it. Let them pay back. Rather than giving investment, because everybody has got a problem. So the thing is, a lot of investment is available. So with this body, let the stakeholders, let us arrive at a framework. And this is what we are going to do that. Why can't you join? And let us identify 84 lakhs units. Let us work for 1% to show the results.
Yeah.
Even 1% is a big amount. We cannot take more than 25 people, 30 people for a batch. And Mr. Alok Varshney, that it is my request that I thank you for identifying Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy to participate in this program. And this is an ongoing program which is also supported by African Asian Rural Development Organization. It is like a mini UN organization headquartered at Delhi, having more than 16 members from Africa and about 15 equal numbers from Asia. And it was established in 1960s, and they have taken interest to participate in this the international webinar series on open source digital technology towards self-reliant India. And it has given its own credentials to us, and I'm very happy that today's talk of Mr. Alagiri Govindasamy and supported by Mr. Alok Varshney, it has come from his own industrial acumen, that how we should go about it. And I rate it as something like a rating of 5-star program of a 5 point from 1 to 5, that we should now run with this way action point which Mr. Alagiri has given it. And I will also request Mr. Alagiri you also join with us to run along with us. We'll show the results.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Alagiri, you would like to, please.
I would like to just let our friends in the audience know that we will try and follow up with another guest as early as next week, who himself is running an MSME industry and how he has benefited, and he has become an ardent fan of digital transformation, Industry 4.0, and latest knowledge and practices, and how it has benefited him. So I think that will be very, very inspiring, and we will try and bring him on. So I'll request all our audience to be on the lookout, and we will definitely let you know, and you will learn from him how he has benefited. So on the other side of the table, where people have applied this and how they have become now ardent fan, and they are very supportive of this, and it's continuously benefiting them in terms of efficiency, in terms of quality, in terms of safety of their plant. So with that thought, I think thank you so much once again. Thank you, Professor Moni. Thank you, Mr. Alagiri, and thank you all our friends in the audience. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Thank you,
Over to
sir.
Mr. Alagiri, you would like to say some few words?
Yes, Professor Moni. It's a great privilege to address the international audience. So I'm here to work with you, Mr. Moni, to take the Industry 4.0 to MSME in terms of multiple education program. I'm ready to work with you to design the diploma program as well as the MBA program, only on Industry 4.0. It's a privilege.
So thank you very much. With this, we will thank you very much for the participants, and also greeting from the Sobit University and also the African Asian Rural Development Organization. For more research inquiries, please contact Professor Moni Madaswamy, Professor Emeritus and Chairman, Center for Industrial Informatics Development Solutions and Application, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, and former Director General, National Informatics Center, Government of India, New Delhi. My email ID is moni@sobituniversity.ac.in. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
we close the seminar. We close the seminar, and we leave the studio. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.